Please be seated. Welcome and good afternoon. My name is Adriana Scaramella, and I am the Chief of Staff of the University of Chicago Graham School. It is my pleasure to welcome you today to the William B. and Catherine V. Graham School of Continuing Liberal and Professional Studies graduation ceremony. This ceremony is part of the 538th Convocation of the University of Chicago, and for over 130 years, the University of Chicago community has gathered at Convocation to celebrate the great achievements of our graduating students. Guests, distinguished academic colleagues, and a special acknowledgement to Mary Lou Gorno for joining us, the Vice Chair of the University's Board of Trustees. We are delighted to see you today here to celebrate the accomplishments of our graduates. And to our graduates, congratulations. We are here today to celebrate you in your momentous achievements. As you partake in today's celebration, I hope you will take a moment to reflect and take pride in your accomplishments. The commitment required to reach this milestone is significant, as are the many rewards. We are so excited to honor you today and to celebrate you as you embark on your next chapter and join the growing and robust community of lifelong learners and alumni at the University of Chicago. Now it is my pleasure to introduce you to the Dean of the Graham School, Seth Green.
Well, let me just start by saying a huge congratulations to our graduates. Can we give them a round of applause, the class of 2024? And I see a lot of family and friends, and I imagine you have been vicariously on this journey with them. So can we give you a congratulations as well? Well, graduates, we will soon be conferring on you a diploma from the University of Chicago Catherine and William B. Graham School of Continuing Liberal and Professional Studies. And I want to talk a little bit this morning about what that diploma, what that piece of paper really means. And I want to look at the University of Chicago on it, and then I want to talk about the Graham School on it. And so I'll start with the University of Chicago. This place was founded in 1890. You may have noticed the world has changed quite dramatically since the founding. But what I want to argue this morning is that the very values that this institution was founded on remain as core to what is needed for an examined life of purpose and a productive life in society as ever before. Because when William Rainey Harper was imagining this institution, he had a vision to revolutionize university study in this country. And I'll read to you what he said about graduate work, since all of you are about to receive the ultimate designation for your graduate studies. The chief purpose of graduate work is not to stock the student's mind with knowledge of what has already been accomplished in a given field, but rather so to train the student that the student may be able to push out along new lines of investigation. And I want you to think about that original statement of what has now colloquially been called that we teach you how to think, not what to think. And I want you to think about the meaning of that in 2024. We couldn't have predicted in 1890 when we started this institution we'd be on the cusp of artificial intelligence, and we'd be in a place where knowledge itself is actually very easy to find, but where the real opportunity in society lies in your ability to be deep in inquiry and to push along new lines of investigation, those that cannot be developed by computer systems, because it's not just pattern recognition. It is the original genius of a human who takes in all of these things and combines them in a new way. And what you found in your classrooms, whether you were in the MLA or BMI or other endeavors at the Graham School, is you found a professor in that classroom who was encouraging you to push in new ways to really produce new knowledge and to have that original discovery moment as part of your graduate education. And my belief is that as the world continues to change, and we can't even imagine where it will be as you continue to use your education, that what you found here, more vital than even the degree or the exact technical knowledge, is this core ability that you have to think critically, to think strategically, and to think in new ways about the world. And so on that count, I want to congratulate you and share that the University of Chicago on your diplomas has never been more meaningful and never been a greater entry into the world. And so I'll give you a round of applause. There is, of course, another part on your diplomas, and that says something that I love as the Dean of the Graham School, the Graham School. And I want to congratulate you for being at a very special school at the university and in higher education at large. So when Harper was founding this university in 1890, he had this vision to revolutionize university study. And he had a very particular context in which he was imagining that revolution. He had come out of the Lyceum movement, and he was involved with the Chautauqua Institution, and those were efforts to bring ideas to the masses. Think of it as YouTube in the early days, where you would get ideas out there well beyond the doors of the traditional academy. And so when he was here, he had a vision where we wouldn't just have a college, which they set up, and a press. We would have a third founding division of the university. It was the first extension, as it was called at the time, later the Graham School, after a wonderful gift from the William Graham family, where we would make sure we bring the ideas, the Nobel Prize-winning ideas, as it turns out, of this institution to all people. And that was the origin of Graham, and it led to a whole new world in higher education of extension studies that to this day leads more people to have access to the excellence of higher education than ever before. And you are part of that tradition. Many of you came at night to get your degrees. Many of you came alongside busy jobs. And if you look at the founding documents of our school and our first classes that were offered in 1892, the statement was this is for people whose daily occupations may not make it possible for them to participate in traditional study. And so you are part of what is now a much more common experience, but you are part of a school that has been doing this for over 130 years, because from the very start, we believed that learning should always be a lifelong pursuit. And so I'll close my remarks there by saying you are part of a lifelong learning institution, and I hope that this is a true commencement, a beginning of a new chapter of learning for each of you in the spirit of the university's motto, let knowledge grow from more to more, and so be human life enriched. Thank you, and let me now introduce our student speaker. So it is my great honor to introduce Dia Weil. Dia is a retired technology executive who is also very active in the philanthropic world, serving on a number of boards ranging from contemporary art to education to social justice. She is a lifelong Chicagoan who grew up in the Austin neighborhood and now lives in Winnetka. She is thrilled to be receiving her master's degree 51 years after her BA, but who's counting? Now, that is where Dia's very modest biography that we asked for ends, but I am going to embarrass you a little bit, Dia, because I thought that was too modest. You should know you are about to hear from a true rock star. So Dia was one of the founders in 1981 of Airphone, the first nationwide wireless company, period. So she was one of the founders of that company at a time when, and this is still the time, unfortunately, but even more uncommon to have a woman in corporate leadership. She was the chief financial officer and chief operating officer of the company and actually led the effort to sell the company to what then became GTE and Verizon. She was also the founder and general manager of Magnistar, which provides air ground service telephone for companies and institutions, including Air Force One. So I could go on, but you are literally in the company of a great. And what is so cool is that even after all of that accomplishment, she said, I have more to learn, and I am going to put myself back in the role of being a student, and I am going to begin this process of discovery again. And if there's anything that speaks to our culture as a school, Dia, you are a role model, and so I enthusiastically welcome you for your remarks.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Dean Green, distinguished faculty, excellent staff, and a special thank you to our wonderful families and friends for your support. I am honored to speak on behalf of my fellow graduates from the 2024 Master of Liberal Arts program at the William B. and Catherine V. Graham School of Continuing Liberal and Professional Studies at the University of Chicago. As I address you now, it is not to deliver a traditional commencement speech, that will come later, but rather to capture the thoughts and sentiments my colleagues might have expressed if they were standing in my place. In preparing to write these remarks, I looked at last year's commencement ceremony, and in every shot, Dean Green had the biggest smile on his face. And after completing the program, I know why. He is the leader and part of a group of professionals, and I don't distinguish between faculty and staff, who are dedicated to the goal of continuing education. The two words, continuing education, sound somewhat simple and maybe prosaic, but when you look at them separately, they reveal profound implications. Continuing signifies a journey without end, a relentless pursuit of growth, knowledge, and improvement. It embodies our commitment to lifelong learning, the understanding that education is not confined to the early years of our lives, but is an ongoing process. Education, on the other hand, is the cornerstone of professional and personal development. It equips us with the tools to think critically, solve complex problems, and contribute meaningfully to society. Together, continuing education represents more than just a return to the classroom. It signifies our determination to keep pushing boundaries, to never settle, and to continuously evolve. Adult learners are different than the typical younger graduate students because we all come for different reasons, with vastly different experiences, and with formed interests. But when we come here, we are new again. We take those experiences and we relearn them together. In talking to my friends in the program, we all had a common theme. We all loved it. And in talking further about why we loved it, everyone felt that the teaching was fantastic, the support exceptional. Adults teaching adults is different than adults supporting younger students, and yet all the people who are part of Dean Green's team did it with such grace, thoughtfulness, and generosity. With the ethics and leadership concentration, I have reflected back on my business career, considering the decisions I made, how I handled people, and the decisions I avoided. Drawing on a wide range of thought from W.E.B. Du Bois, Hannah Arendt, Jean-Jacques Rousseau, James Madison, to Martin Luther King Jr., and Judith Jarvis Thompson, I have come to appreciate the crucial connection between academia and the business and civic world. The Graham School significantly contributes to this linkage, which is even more vital in our present days. Aristotle said, "Those who know, do. Those who understand, teach." And I have found this to be profoundly true. I have loved this program, and it is actually very bittersweet to finish it. However, I know that because of this experience, I will continue to think more deeply, consider things from new perspectives, and approach challenges with greater insight. That is a wonderful legacy from our time here, and I am confident that we will carry it with us. I was quoting William Rainey Harper as Dean Green did, so I'll read it again. William Rainey Harper, the founding president of the University of Chicago, said, "The chief purpose of graduate work is not to stock the student's mind with knowledge of what has already been accomplished in a given field, but rather so to train the student that the student may be able to push out along new lines of investigation." But I found a more succinct quote, variously attributed to Harry Truman, Earl Weaver, or Coach John Wooden. "It's what you learn after you know it all that counts." And I would like to close on that note and know that we will all be going forward with that in mind. Thank you on behalf of my colleagues. Thank you for putting together this lovely ceremony. Thank you for affording us the opportunity to be part of this great learning experience. And thank you for continuing to offer this program to those who take part in the future.
Thank you so much, Dia. That was beautiful, and I echo everything you said about the amazing faculty and staff that are behind all of the programs that we celebrate today. It is now my pleasure to introduce the second student speaker, and that is Chris Teng. Chris is a remarkable individual whose academic journey and professional achievements truly embody the spirit of excellence we celebrate here at the University of Chicago. He is a recent graduate of our Master of Science in Biomedical Informatics, a journey that culminated this past summer in 2023. Prior to joining us, he earned his Bachelor of Science degree in Bioinformatics from UCLA. His academic pursuits have driven by a passion for leveraging technology and data to advance our understanding of complex biological systems. Currently, Chris is applying his skills as a full-time software developer at another university, Stanford, where he works on developing sophisticated data ingestion, processing, and visualization pipelines for multi-omics data sets. His work involves cutting-edge technologies and platforms, including Google Cloud and Docker, ensuring high-quality and efficient data processing for significant research projects. His dedication to his field led to his recent acceptance into the prestigious medical genetics doctoral program at the University of British Columbia. I'll give him applause on that. Throughout his time with us, Chris has not only excelled academically, but has also contributed to the research community, as evidenced by his numerous publications and presentations at esteemed conferences. And so it is with that and with great pride that I welcome Chris Teng to the podium.
Thank you, Dean Green, for the warm introduction, and thank you, Dia, for the kind and inspiring words. I'm not quite sure how to follow up on such an excellent speech, but I'll do my best. It's already been said, but welcome, family, friends, faculty, staff, alumni, and of course, graduates. My name is Chris Teng, and it's an honor to speak today as a member of the Masters of Science in Biomedical Informatics class of 2023. I don't want to pretend like I'm an authority on this, but I wanted to talk today about rejection. Rejection is a word that often carries a negative connotation. It evokes feelings of disappointment, frustration, and self-doubt. It's also something that I'm sure many of us have faced in one form or another. Maybe a project wasn't funded, or an idea was tossed aside, or maybe that person you hit it off with never responded to your messages. Or maybe, in one of the most competitive job markets to date, you were told, "Thank you for your application and interest. While we were impressed by your credentials and the strength of your application, we regret to inform you that at this time, we can't offer you a position." My own experience, I was denied admission to 29 graduate programs across 2 application cycles despite years of preparation. But for all the pain it causes, I also believe that it is essential to recognize rejection as an incredibly powerful catalyst for growth and resilience. This isn't a new idea. In fact, in the time of the Romans, this school of thought was particularly fashionable. I believe Marcus Aurelius wrote that the impediment to action advances action. More recently, this mindset can be seen in the context of dating. The internet sometimes refers to this as a post-breakup glow-up. No matter what it's called, rejection can be transformative. It pushed me to reevaluate my goals, develop a deeper understanding of my strengths and passions, and honestly confront my shortcomings. It was through this process of critical self-reflection that I found it in me to try again and apply to the biomedical informatics program in spite of my fears that nothing would be different this time. And ultimately, it was through this program that I discovered how rejection isn't the end of the road. It's simply a detour leading to a myriad of unforeseen possibilities. Because if I had made it in my previous applications, I wouldn't have come here to the city, to the school, to this program. I wouldn't have learned about using color theory to improve the accessibility and engagement of data visualizations. I wouldn't have understood the importance of picklability when multi-threading in Python, or learned about the nuances of integrating different types of genomics data. But perhaps more importantly, I wouldn't have experienced all the little moments that have made my time at UChicago so personally profound. I would have missed the late night chats with friends about everything from thoughts and dreams of the future, to real estate, to the absolutely dire state of online dating in Chicago. I would have missed the talks and presentations from peers whose confidence and eloquence challenged me to become less frightened, less intimidated by the act of public speaking. And I would have missed the end-of-term pizza parties to discover if Luz is really better than Giordano's. At each and every turn, my experiences with the supportive, driven, and inspiring individuals of the 2023-2024 cohort, as well as the biomedical informatics instructors, showed me that rejection is just a guise for redirection. It can bring joy into your life when it isn't immediately obvious, and especially when it's least expected. Through rejection, I have rediscovered my passion for discovery and found happiness in the easy camaraderie of a cohort united through shared experience. To my friends, my peers, and my mentors at this institution, thank you. None of what I would have accomplished here or in the future would be possible without you. As we move forward into the next chapter of our lives, I encourage us to embrace rejection with open minds and resilient spirits. Remember that rejection is not a measure of your worth or potential. It's just a paving stone on the path to success. Every no is an opportunity to learn and to grow. It's a chance to gain new perspectives, to identify areas for growth, and to build a stronger foundation for future endeavors. Use it as a tool to sharpen your focus and fuel your passion. Let it drive you to work harder and innovate and persevere. Embracing rejection will transform obstacles into opportunities and raise us to greater heights than we ever imagined possible. To my fellow graduates, congratulations on your incredible achievements. You have demonstrated not only academic brilliance, but also the strength and fortitude to overcome the obstacles to reach this day. To our families, friends, and mentors, thank you for your unwavering support and encouragement. Your belief in us has been our foundation and our motivation. Let us continue to support one another, strive for excellence, and consider every opportunity and rejection with enthusiasm, courage, and resilience. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. I do want to say, you know you're at the University of Chicago when you're giving out a master's degree in biomedical informatics, master's in science, and you're hearing about Marcus Aurelius and the philosophies. And it's so core to who we are that we bring the timeless in contact with the timely, and we think about how the two can help us to unearth the big questions of the future. So you're a role model. Thank you for what you're sharing. And Chris, in your remarks, you talked a lot about that intersection of bioinformatics and the public good. And it is a true honor to now introduce someone who has spent their career developing at that intersection, Dr. Sam Bolshenbaum, who is a professor in the Department of Pediatrics and Associate Chief Research Informatics Officer for the Biological Sciences Division. He is also Associate Dean of Master's Education and the Informatics Lead for the Institute for Translational Medicine. He is also the Program Director for the Clinical Informatics Fellowship Program. And on top of that, he has a specialty which is around pediatric hematology and oncology, and is involved in caring for kids with cancer and diseases of the blood. In addition to all that he does with his clinical practice, and you're going to start wondering if I'm introducing multiple people, this is the same person. He directs the Data for the Common Good, a research group dedicated to liberating and democratizing data. Their largest project, the Pediatric Cancer Data Commons, is the world's largest publicly available repository for data from children with cancer. And imagine today, with artificial intelligence and the ability to look at patterns, what it means to have the largest data set in the world on cancer in children. Imagine how transformational his work will be for people around the world. He has been on the University of Chicago faculty since 2007. In 2009, he was named a St. Baldrick's Foundation Scholar. He received his PhD in molecular biology and MD from the Mayo Medical School. And I'll just say what's particularly noteworthy is that he has achieved all of this with a smile, a contagious passion, and a hugely collaborative spirit. And I believe the reason he's been able to accomplish all of this and have all of those qualities is that he is truly someone who is motivated for the best of reasons. He wants to make the world a better place, and he wakes up every day to do it. And so with that, let me introduce you as our speaker.
I feel like I should just go home after that. All right. Good afternoon, Dean Green, Board of Trustees, Vice Chair Gorno, Managing Director Morley Cohn, Chief of Staff Scaramella, Directors Clark, Murphy, and Purnell, and family, friends, faculty, staff, and graduates. It's an honor to address you all today. Last time I spoke at this graduation, I talked about the ethics of artificial intelligence. Today, I will challenge you to think bigger and perhaps outside of your comfort zone. I ask you to hear me out today as I talk about how technological advancements can make the world a better place for all, even the poorest and most desperate people. As you listen, think about how you can use your new knowledge and talents to improve people's lives. It will not always be obvious where you can have an impact, but if you keep your eyes and ears open, you will find these opportunities all around you. And while the causes that make you passionate may change and your priorities will evolve, you can always be ready to help those less fortunate. I'm sure for many of you, the first choice will be to get a job that pays well, and maybe even have a mission that resonates with you. This is something we all strive for in our lives. But for some of you, you'll get a job to survive, something that meets your basic requirements. And depending on where you end up, you may even feel like you sold out. But this is my advice to you. This is what I've learned. If you want to fight injustice, do one simple thing. Keep your eyes open. Look for it. And don't ignore injustice when you see it. Do what you can to strive to make improvements, however small. I'll give an example from my own life that you might find interesting, and then I have another one on a more global scale. I had a patient once with a very rare abdominal tumor. As a new and inexperienced fellow, I failed to get consent from the parents to use their son's tumor tissue for research. And by the time I realized this, it was too late. They were simply devastated and rightfully upset with me. While their child was unlikely to survive his cancer, they wanted his tumor to be used by researchers to learn more and prevent another child from suffering the same fate. These and other experiences during training pushed me to dedicate myself to creating better ways to collect and share data. This has been my calling, and along the way, I've learned to look for places where we simply must do better. Let me ask you a question. Which industry has done a better job with data standardization, banking or medicine? I'll give you a hint. There are multiple cash machines on the way to Mount Everest, but you still have to walk into a hospital to get your MRI on a DVD. Honestly, who here can even still play a DVD? The banks figured out how to move data around 40 years ago, yet most hospitals still struggle to send a scanned image through a cloud system. And don't get me started on pagers and fax machines. Yes, these are still in widespread use. The lack of interoperability of hospital data is mind-blowing, and it is harming patients, from those who struggle to get a second opinion to cancer patients trying to find a clinical trial. We must do better. We have a project now to understand how pollution and other environmental factors affect asthma in children, especially in the poorest areas of Chicago. Of course, we think that people from these under-resourced communities will welcome the opportunity to be monitored and studied and be happy about sharing their data to elicit change. But surprise, we cannot assume that at all, and to do so would be an ethical lapse. We must instead engage these stakeholders as partners in every aspect of our work. We must do better. This is my point about injustice. It will be all around you if you stop and look for it. I promised you a more global example of AI and technology making the world a better place. Last time I spoke about bias in artificial intelligence. For example, AI image generators automatically creating a picture of a white man when asked to imagine a CEO, discriminatory loan applications, biased resume readers. I could give you a ton of examples like this. But this year I want to talk about the poor in sub-Saharan Africa. I've been assisting a group of developers and humanitarians who want to make a series of smartphone apps that help refugees in the poorest parts of the world. They focus on a language called Kinyarwanda, a language spoken by Tutsis in the Congo and Rwanda. During the Rwandan genocide in 1994, almost 1 million Tutsis were killed based on their ethnicity. Speaking Kinyarwanda could get you killed, and in the Congo, still today it can. Around the world, there are hundreds of so-called low-resource languages. Google doesn't make speech-to-speech apps for them, probably because they're just not a profitable demographic. But this group I'm helping, all volunteers with day jobs, are trying to change that. They collaborate with Congolese refugees and they create apps that help them become literate and learn English. As a not-for-profit, they can get away with this, having a mission to help humanity and nothing more. They are using free open source tools to help these refugees using basic informatics approaches. OpenAI was founded in 2015 as a not-for-profit. As Forbes cited last year, OpenAI is now unambiguously profit-driven. This is symbolic of many trends in AI, tools that start out as mission-driven applications until their creators get greedy. And while I will gladly pay for the opportunity to generate AI images of puppies playing pianos in cute hats as much as the next guy, we have simply lost our charter. We forgot that we were trying to make the world a better place. Imagine if Google or OpenAI or Facebook turned its attention to helping these Congolese refugees with a Kinyarwandan translation app. How that relatively small investment could change hundreds of thousands of lives. Consider the possibilities. So my message today on your graduation day is never let what's wrong with the world make you forget what's right with it. No matter where you go, no matter where you work, no matter what your role, if you want to make the world a better place, a path will appear in front of you. It might be promoting data standards, it might be becoming a vegan or sponsoring refugees or making safer airplanes. It might be teaching in underserved areas or working on renewable energy or curing medulloblastoma. Or it might be shoveling an elderly person's driveway or bottle feeding an orphan at 3 a.m. or adopting a foster child. I know you know this story, but I'm going to close with this. A young man is walking on a beach after a storm and sees thousands of starfish stranded on the sand, under the hot sun. He notices an older woman picking up starfish one by one and gently tossing them back into the ocean. Curious, the young man approaches her and asks, "Why are you throwing starfish into the ocean?" She said, "The sun is hot and the tide is going out, and if I don't throw them in, they'll die." Incredulously, the man asked, "Don't you see there are many miles of beach and thousands of starfish? You can't possibly make a difference." Without looking up, she picked up another starfish and threw it gently back in the sea. Then she turned to him and said, "Well, it made a difference for that one." Thank you.
Well, we have reached the moment that you all might have come for. We are ready to confer the degrees for the Master of Liberal Arts and Master of Science in Biomedical Informatics. And so I will call up my colleague, Tim Murphy, who directs the Master of Liberal Arts first.
It is my honor to present these students who have completed the program of studies prescribed by the faculty of the William B. and Catherine V. Graham School of Continuing Liberal and Professional Studies. They have been awarded the degree Master of Liberal Arts by the Board of Trustees. Will the recipients of the degree Master of Liberal Arts please rise? and proceed to the stage to receive your degree.
Dia Wheel. Trudy Beaubrun. Beth Bacchus. Kelly Christensen. Elizabeth Coronelli. Mary Jo Griesenauer. Priya Loroya. Hanson Ma. Alfred Mohammed. Thomas Monahan. Steed Needham. Martin Perry. Mona Quioff.
It is my honor to present these students who have completed the program of studies prescribed by the faculty of the William B. and Catherine V. Graham School of Continuing Liberal and Professional Studies. They have been awarded the degree Master of Science in Biomedical Informatics by the Board of Trustees. Will the recipients of the degree Master of Science in Biomedical Informatics please rise and proceed to the stage to receive your degree?
Christopher Tang. Rhea Alcurry. Shatnawi. Abhishek Arnapali. Wakas Butt. Carla Corona. William Hartnett. Praneet Kaur. Sharon Kim. Farham Masood. Alexa Paola Mendoza. Julia Miller. Dr. Andrew Mawad. Isabella Nabozny. Maya Nahar. Brayley Teresa Nudera. Haley Pangburn. Clementine Paris. Mansi Patel. Ratika Reddy. Brian Riviera. Michelle Salazar. Remy Samplianu. Ellen Sandner. Nayeli Cencion Cortez. Sahasra Shankar. Kanwoo Shin. Priya Shrees. Lucia Simon Dabu. Aditi Verma. Amelia Woods. Let's give all our graduates one more round of applause. I am Jarvis Purnell, Director of Student Affairs and Career Advancement here at the University of Chicago Professional Education. As we bring the ceremony to a close, I want to extend my heartfelt congratulations to all of you. Your hard work, dedication, and perseverance have brought you to this momentous occasion, and we are incredibly proud of you. I know I am. To our esteemed guests, family members, and friends, thank you for being here to celebrate these achievements. Your unwavering support has been a cornerstone in our graduates' journey, and your presence here today adds to this joy of the special occasion. Graduates, today marks the beginning of a new chapter in your lives. You are now part of a vibrant and dynamic alumni community that spans the globe. This community is a testament to the excellence and impact of the University of Chicago education. I encourage you to stay connected, engage with your fellow alumni, seek opportunities to provide mentorship and guidance to current and future students, and continue to contribute to the legacy of our institution. Before we conclude, I would like to remind everyone of the recessional proceedings. Graduates, please remain seated until the academic procession has exited the stage. Guests, kindly stay in your seats until all graduates have processed out. Our ushers and volunteers will be on hand to guide you to the reception, which is just at the first level in the rear patio. We invite all of you to continue the celebration with light refreshments and an abundance of photo opportunities. Once again, congratulations to our grads. We look forward to witnessing the remarkable achievements you will undoubtedly accomplish in your future endeavors. Thank you all for being part of this wonderful occasion, and have a wonderful afternoon, and we wish you safe travels on your journey back home. Thank you.